all that to say, 2023 is more just about being the original version that God intended me to be before life splatters stuff on my canvas. Like getting back to that original piece is really what 2023 is all about for me. And I'm turning 30. We turning 30. So
Why would you tell my business?
Sorry, I'm turning 30.
I'm forever 21, baby. I don't know why you ever
piggyback off what you're saying, so we're going to move into a conversation about intentionality for 2023, just to close up to this segment. But we got feedback one time that folks might be interested in seeing an older person in the room with us, because with age comes perspective. And I'm 27, I'm the youngest person in this room, even if it's just by like a couple months. But what I don't think, at least those people who made those comments understand, is that there are 56-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 72-year-olds who did not come to these realizations until they were much farther in life than we are. And I'm not saying that from a privileged perspective. I'm saying that from having conversations with my mother and understanding, having conversations with my mother. And then once the pandemic was letting up, anytime that I went outside, I was stopped by an older Black woman who stopped me and said thank you, because I was never able to allow myself to think in the ways you're allowing me to think now in my big age. And so I want to speak specifically to the audience, like, yeah, you're going to see younger millennials dominating these conversations each time that we come here, but it's also important to see us have those. Like, that's also representation of liberation that I think is important for people of any demographic to see, whether it's younger than us and they're inspired, or older than us and inspired and liberated because of the conversation that we're having. Because I guarantee you there's a woman 2-3 times your age just like, wow, I feel freed because that girl just said it. And I'm so happy for her that she was able to do it. And now I'm going to make sure when it comes to my grandkids, I'm drilling in these messages, because they don't just have to get it from the internet. We are promoting intergenerational healing and conversation just by sitting here together.
That's so good. That's so good.
So moving into 2023, because I had to think about it, how I wanted to move. But like you said, like opening my eyes and being comfortable, and I say this for the audience, whomever, but being comfortable with multiple realities. Like, because you're hyper positive does not mean that that's the correct way to be. Like, you know, you have to be duality. Life is all about understanding both sides. So vetting more people, you know, being more aware, having more discernment, having some boundaries. With myself, to where I don't give that to everyone, you know, just because of whatever abandonment or lack that I felt as a child, you know. So I think for me in this space in my life, especially with growing my event and having a team behind me who are all younger than me, being okay with the fact of saying, you know, there's good and bad, there's light and darkness, but I choose who to give my light to. I choose who to give my knowledge to. I choose who to give my rebuttals to. And I think sometimes we move from one end of the spectrum to another. When I was a child, I was fire. Just fire. You say something, it's, you know, even if it was still rooted in love, I'm going to hit you. I'm going to get you. I'm going to say whatever I have to say. I moved to the other spectrum where I was like, I don't got nothing to say. You do one thing wrong to me, I'll never talk to you again.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, but learning the middle ground, you know, the middle ground of like having conversations, healing, loving, and understanding that people are so complex. And just because I'm going through an experience on my own, each of us are going through our own universe of experiences that the other doesn't know about. So moving into 2023, just being more aware of my energy and where it is placed, and also healing, really, because all that is just little Mayana who went through a divorce. I say that like I went through a divorce.
You did.
But yeah, I always catch myself like you didn't go, but I did. Going through a divorce at 10, you know, being the oldest child, having to put on that face of strength and you know, all that. You don't have to be that. I can be somebody else now. Or I can get back to who I originally was before that. Yeah. And that's really what I'm learning about 2023. It's getting back to the Mayana before I got a divorce. And that Mayana is very poised and listening, but in the middle, I didn't know how to exist. Like, I didn't know how to exist before, but I think all that to say, 2023 is more just about being the original version that God intended me to be before life splatters stuff on my canvas. Like getting back to that original piece is really what 2023 is all about for me. And I'm turning 30. We turning 30. So
Why would you tell my business?
Sorry, I'm turning 30.
I'm forever 21, baby. I don't know
Period.
why you ever say that. What's up with her?
Leave that out. Let's bleep it out.
You're speaking French, girl. I don't speak no French. Who is we?
Audience, I'm turning 30. I'm turning 30 next week.
Who is we? What's you?
I thought we had camaraderie.
Leaking beats.
Okay. Too much.
So what is who else wants to take it on? 2023 means what? What does that mean for you in the next year?
So moving with intention to execute.
Moving with intention to execute.
Is for me. I've battled a lot in 2022 and previous years of just execution. And to be honest with you, execution has been my goal and top of the board task to complete or accomplishment since 2020. But now having a daughter, you know, and having another life to look after, and creating the family that I have, there's another level of execution that I have to get to. Even though I'm good at what I do, I still have to get over that threshold even further. You know what I mean? Because we all have great talents in our own right. And we know that we're good and we don't push ourselves to go even further than what we can. So, you know, for me, it's just executing and really just taking that, you know, really having that energy to go beyond that threshold of what I'm accustomed to. So that's really it for me. Very plain and simple.
Yeah.
That's
Love that.
2023, I want to impress myself.
I like that.
I feel like I want to impress myself. I want to be like, damn, girl, you did it. I think that's the most beautiful thing about 2023, and I feel like I'm in my late 20s. I've never said that for real. I've never said that. But like being in my late 20s, I do understand the importance of like intentionality, goal setting, and I think like as a Aquarius, mostly air person, I'm very big picture. Like, okay, this is the grand scheme. Like, I have a vision board that is as big as a wall. Like, and it has all the big things about what it's gonna be. But I think a part of impressing myself is like, okay, this is the big vision, and then you break it down, and then you celebrate the small wins. Like every day, what's the small win that you did, and like really keep track of that goal. And I think that if I'm able to keep track of those goals, first of all, that's impressive. And then at the end of the day, like forgetting what it means to impress other people. People are going to be impressed by me. I'm impressive.
Indeed.
Correct. Correct. However, like it no longer being about anybody else being impressed, and like me knowing the extent of like executing in a way that's beyond. That's so impressive. And I just want that for me. I want to be like, damn, girl.
But also giving yourself a moment to even do that.
Correct.
Like, because so many times we accomplish something and be like, what's next?
Right.
And I do that all the time. Like, just this past Monday, I was saying, like, I had my biggest show attendance-wise today. I'm thinking about next Monday.
Yeah.
I just had a conversation with Obi about that last week. Like, celebrating ourselves.
Yeah.
They don't have
And because you said you had something going on, I was like, you should celebrate. You was like, I don't. And I have that feeling too, where I'm just like, oh, it happened, yay! But I'm focused on the next thing already.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah, what's next?
So I think, we just gotta give ourselves a moment to pause.